Well, we were a little bit late doing it, but we're back. We are on free restream, which means that you probably saw some restream commercials, or you will see some restream commercials throughout the program. But you'll also hear our advertising for restream. I think they're the best. The cheapest plan is about $16 a month if you prepay, and $19 a month if you pay monthly. And you see the restream up in the corner because we're not able to, on the free plan, put our Boogie with the Bull logo there. That's the only difference between the free plan and the pay plans. You're allowed 6 people total, yourself and 5 other people. So Randy Rhodes is with me tonight because we couldn't find the other 5 people.
I'd make up for 3.
Well, okay. Oh, all right. Randy and his 2 personalities are here with us. That's Ancestry.com and 23andMe with his they didn't do what he wanted, or they did do what he wanted and they told him too much, and his client got upset about it, and I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but his client did get upset about it. I won't be specific. I'll just say that I guess he found out there is blood in his bloodline, and he was not happy with the blood that is there, and I'll leave it at that. You are what you are, and
you're close. This individual had 2 DNA tests done by 2 different companies.
Okay.
And I'm all right with DNA tests. They're fine.
Yeah.
But they only give you so much information.
Right.
And when you do a family tree, it goes a lot further than what a DNA test can actually show you. Okay, because if you have people who come in your past who come from countries that 23andMe or Ancestry had not yet gone in and tested their DNA, you won't know about them. Oh. So this individual, I found something, and it's proven, and I fact check, double check, triple check, and he didn't like the results because it wasn't showing up in his DNA test. I explained to him why and how, and that DNA tests can only go back so far. So, and it's and only if you have enough of your family members who get tested, and if they don't, then there's gaps in the information.
Right.
So it is what it is. But on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, Dave is going to spotlight some of the stuff I do with Ancestry. So I have a song that he said I can share.
You can.
And it kind of like explains a little bit about what I do. So I want to play it now if he shares my screen.
I will share your screen.
So I have a song that he said I can share. And it kind of like explains a little bit about what I do. So I want to play it now.
Every name on a faded page, every roadside, every age. From a small town,
I have a song that he's like to share, and it kind of like explains a little bit about what I do. So I want to play it now.
Every name, all lead to home where the road goes. Every roadside for your family, for the glory. Every soldier, saint and pride, royal, bandit, hero, ring out from the dusty stone. Join up for your family, stay for the history, find your own. From the first shots fired for a brand new flag, to the smoke and thunder of a tattered rag, across the ocean, through the gone gray sky, their courage lives in your eye. All roads lead to home where the road goes deep and wide. From the revolution's fire to the cannon's distant cry. North and south, the trenches, 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 where the marching drums had grown. Join up for your family, stay for the history, find your own. They stood in the cold, they wrote their names in dust. They carried hope and fear, they handed you their trust. Trace the lines, connect the years, feel their footsteps in your bones. All roads lead to home, where the road goes deep and wide. Worlds apart through every war, still they walk by your side. Royals, rebel bandits, heroes, every seed they've ever sown. Join up for your family, stay for the history, find your own.
And that's the rest of this music. But it tells a lot, and that's Suno.com. I pay for it. That's my song. I own the rights to it. So Facebook, stay off of it.
I'm not worried about Facebook.
So tonight is politics, news, and whatever else comes out of our mouths.
That's right.
As long as we don't have to use ivory soap like my mom used to do. I'm not sure how many people are watching or watch the after show, but Dave and I were talking about using naughty words, and my mom, since my dad was in the military, he's always away, doing different things. My mom more or less raised my brother and me, and my mom was like 5'1", like maybe like 102 pounds. She was small compared to us, but back then we had enough respect. You don't back talk your mom. If your mom's going to go hit you, you let her hit you. And she had two ways of doing that. She had the fly swatter, okay. And she had the paddle toy. Remember the paddle toy that had the ball attached to it? You just bounce it around like that. Well, she'd rip the ball off, and then she'd use the paddle. But if you would swear, she'd drag you into the bathroom and open up your mouth and shove a wet bar of soap in your mouth, and she kind of swirls it around until you get soap in your mouth.
Or stomp on your foot until she got you to yell, and then shove the bar while your mouth was open.
Yeah, she doesn't do that. She just ripped our mouth open and goes, or sometimes she'll use black pepper. She'll put pepper in our mouths.
Oh, no, that I hear actually hurts.
It does. It burns.
Yeah.
I remember one time I went to our neighbor. My brother was there, and the neighbor had a glass bowl with what looked like candy in it, and my brother knew that it was this fancy soap, and the kid asked me, "Want a piece of some candy?" I said, "Sure." Mm-hmm. So I took the small piece what I thought was candy, put in my mouth, started chewing it, and realized it was soap. And of course they laughed at me, and I ran over to mommy crying, and she gave me bread to eat to get the taste out of my mouth. But anyways, I think all of us are aware that Iran had shot down one of our Black Hawk helicopters. Right. And luckily, the two pilots survived. They were in the ocean, and for the very first time in modern day history of warfare, they were rescued not by another boat, not by a helicopter or whatever, but by two remote-driven drone boats. Mm-hmm. Did you see the video of that?
I didn't see the video. I heard about it, but jumping ahead, I believe that the military has been pelting Iran rather heavily to bring this thing to an end, I guess.
Correct.
And the only sticking point seems to be they're citing the dotted line that it's over, opening the Straits of Hormuz again, and not having a nuclear warhead, which I believe they are willing to agree to. They just have not signed the papers yet, but in good faith, I guess President Trump has called off tonight's bombathon.
Correct. The drone boats can travel up to 40 miles per hour, and it showed these two boats, as a trial, but one boat for each pilot, and they got home safe. And like you're saying, in retaliation for shooting down our helicopter, supposedly during a ceasefire, Israel started attacking first. Now, if you take notice, and unless I'm wrong, someone correct me, Israel struck them during broad daylight, whereas the United States strikes at nighttime. Maybe that's a deal they have. You do daytime, we do nighttime. But I would think going daytime is more dangerous for the planes because you're more visible. But bomb, jets, missiles, the whole 9 yards, within 40 miles of the capital of Iran. And from what I saw on the news, the new leader was killed, and his follow-up said, "You know what? I had enough." He resigned, and while Trump was doing a live interview with a news reporter, and they were bombing the shit out of Iran, he said, "Excuse me, I have to go take this phone call. It's the leader of Iran. He wants to talk to me." So he went, talked to the guy. He came back to the live interview, and he said that they're begging for us to stop the bombing. They're ready to sign the papers. So, and we've heard that before.
Right.
So let's see what happens. I know he said that all the Middle Eastern countries who are friends with us are happy to hear this. I just think I think Trump took the heavy bombing for two reasons. First, because Congress was getting ready to take away his war powers to keep doing it. Plus, the helicopter being shot down didn't help either. But I guess we'll find out next day or two if they actually signed the paperwork. But
I think they will. And I think the sad thing for me to say is that we got roped into this by Israel. I don't think it would have been as strong if our allies from the land of milk and honey didn't rope us into this. Because in like 40, 50 years of this Iran hating Israel and Israel hating Iran, it's never gotten to this point, and we've never had a president that just said, "You know what, guys, the end of it."
But you have to end it. But you have to think about this too. Iran was providing money to Israel's enemies, and as long as they still had that money coming to them, they were able to keep launching missiles and rockets into Israel. So you can't blame Israel for saying, "Look, we're getting tired of this bull crap. United States, would you join with us to take out, stop Iran from doing this?" And rightfully so. But the sad thing is this, and that's okay. So let's say they sign the papers. Yeah, okay. We don't want nuclear weapons. We want peace. We open up the waterways. Blah 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 blah. And then shit hits the fan in 2 years, and a Democrat gets in. Well, look what happened with North Korea. As long as Trump was president, North Korea didn't have nuclear weapons. Mm-hmm. Now they have at least a dozen, because during the time of Biden, they didn't keep up the pressure. And North Korea knew it. They knew they could get away with it. And damn it, they did. They got away with it. And now they have like a dozen nuclear missiles.
Of course they did. And with the Democrats coming in after a Republican, they say we tend to go back in history like 25 years. So I don't know. Maybe they will get it. Maybe they won't. I don't know. I'm kind of drawn to this. Everybody else has them, and everybody else has enough to blow up the earth several times. And if you really want to do that, I guess you should have one, because everybody else has one. Because I don't buy that anybody who has one, especially the U.S., is not going to use it. They most certainly are, or else they would have taken it apart and not left it stockpiled and ready to go.
Well, they had at one point started to dismantle the nuclear program, and the United States was doing it, and so were some other countries. But then they found out that Russia was cheating, And that's what we start the whole damn nuclear profile again. They start rebuilding. I think from the United States point of view, though, is that we have them as a deterrent against Russia and China and other rogue nations, that we won't use ours unless they use it first.
Right.
Whereas, if Iran had them, who knows what they probably would use it.
They
as
blow
water
up
too.
Israel first.
Right.
They blow up Israel first and assume that we would get into it. Or they would aim them at Israel and we would get involved and try to detour them somewhere else or back toward Iran, and that could happen. I mean, I just think that out and out war is just an outdated way of settling our differences. Why can't we just come to the table, break bread, and honestly work it all out? And that's it. I mean, what you do in your own nation is up to you, but, if it's illegal for us, then we're going to assume it's illegal for you, and you got to get rid of that stuff, or being a haven for that kind of stuff happening.
Well, that's what the whole UN was supposed to be for. UN was supposed to be a way for nations to gather, to discuss their differences and work out solutions. But all the UN has done is really to cover up for the crimes of other nations, like Africa, killing multiple thousands of Christians and white people, and the torture of others and so forth. That's why Trump is making moves to get us totally out of the UN, and let some other country support them and supply them with a bill to meet into, because they don't do what they're supposed to be doing. And
he did the same thing with NATO. We were paying NATO fees for everybody, and getting treated like we were the bad guy. So, it all just needs to change. And do I worry about what's going to happen if Trump ends his term and a Democrat gets elected? Yes, I do. But do I know for sure what's going to happen? No, I don't.
Well, look at California. California, we know out and out is cheating. We have, just like with the 2020 election, we have the videos, we have the eyewitness, we have everything, and they got away with it, at least for now. And my concern is that when time comes, it's going to be at the 2028 elections, and if we don't punish those now that are cheating, they're going to do it again in 2028, and they'll probably get back in the White House. They'll undo everything that Trump has done. Iran gets their nuclear missiles again, and the whole world goes to pot. They got millions of illegals coming to our country, and everything is turned upside down. That's why I like the idea. I hate to say it. I know other people who disagree with me. I like the idea of a king, as long as the king does what is right for the people. Now, if the king, like over in England, starts doing what he's doing, then there should be a way to get him to abdicate his throne, either by force or by pressure, and get someone in there who's there for the people. For a very long time, the kings and queens did that. But with the way the world has gone, the King of England right now is forgetting his English citizens, and he's trying to appease a different population. And like in Ireland, this is one of my subjects I want to talk about. Ireland, this white guy was captured by a Muslim, and he was beaten up and was close to having his head cut off. And some people intervened. Got the guy to stop. I don't know if the kid is alive or dead, but now what's going on is that other immigrants are reenacting what happened to him at the exact same spot where it happened, and that's okay. But when the Irish people are protesting the whole action and how it came to be, they're the ones being arrested because the legal system is upside down with Ireland, Wales, Scotland, England because of the king.
Well, the problem I see with King Donald Trump is that, okay, go to King Donald Trump, but when he steps down or something else happens, who do you give it to? Because Barron Trump could get it, Tiffany Trump could get it, one of the older Trumps could get it, and it's not like they were raised and trained and taught and did things to deserve becoming the king. That's the only problem I have. We end up going and searching out of the family, which we should do because there isn't anyone in the family that's ready to be king. And doing it that way. And I don't see it. I just don't see us having a king. We left where there was a king to come here and took the king's army on and earn the right to stay here and be our own without the king. And George Washington had
Oh, where'd he go?
down. He said he would be president, but he was not interested in being a king. So
the founding fathers had a good idea, okay, and they put they put it down on paper, the Constitution and so forth, and for the time frame it worked because they couldn't see into the future. They couldn't see what would take place, what would happen, but now we have people who are in office who are trying to rewrite the Constitution or add crap in to suit their own needs. I don't think the founding fathers meant for these men and women to be in office until their deathbed, like some people are being wheeled in and haven't help voting. I think there's definitely think there should be time limits.
There should be time limits. There should be time limits on everything. You could, as a president, you can only serve for 8 years. So why is there not at least 8 years that limits you from being in the House? 8 years, the same 8 years should limit you. You should get 8 years total. However, you want to split it up between terms in the House and terms in the Senate, or terms in the Senate, terms in the House. However you want to split it up, you get 8 years. You're done. If you don't get picked up by a presidential candidate running for president at the end of the 8 years, you can go home and get a job working at a TV station or get your own show or whatever. But go away and let somebody else do it.
Actually,
go ahead.
Actually, I think it should be extended to 12 years because the reason why is this is that
try again.
I know. Shut up. The reason why is my phone's talking to me. The reason why is it's like Trump. He spent almost his first full year and year and a half on doing what the Democrats did beforehand, and it took him. He's still in his second half year, and he still doesn't have his full cabinet because he has to fight the Democrats to get his people elected. I think 12 years for a president is the good time because it takes the time to undo what was done, and then gives you the rest of the time to work on making things better. My personal opinion for what it's worth.
No, I agree with you that the presidential term should be 12 years. It should be the same in Congress, 12 years. However, you want to divide it up and split it, or 12 years in one chamber. That's up to you. And then your natural state is that you go on to be a vice president and maybe come on to be a president, and that's it. If you don't get picked up as vice president, you don't get a chance to become president. I guess that's the end of the line for you. Or go off and run. But we're not.
I don't think these Congress and Senate people should be allowed to vote their own raises.
No, they
You know, and
should.
so forth.
That's always been a sticky point. That unfortunately, I guess it's a constitutional amendment that gives them the right to do
I
that.
mean, who's going to say no to a raise, right?
Well, okay, but the raise should be meritorious and not based on just because you showed up for the first meeting, you get to vote yourself a raise before you've ever done anything. Because in any other job anywhere in the world, including being on the board of directors of a company, you don't get the right to vote yourself a raise. Period. You don't get the right to vote yourself a raise. You show the executive compensation committee how much you did, and you can ask for a raise, but it's up to them and the shareholders to decide if you get a raise. Well, to stand before the shareholders, and Mike Johnson or John Thune says, we voted ourselves a raise. No, it doesn't work that way.
I agree.
It's like these people that want 40% tips before you even sit down at the table. No, the answer is no. It's not my responsibility, really, that you're not making enough money. It's between you and the person that you work for, or you and the persons that you work for, to come to some conclusion that you make enough money. But for me to tip you or agree to tip you 40% before I even sit down at your table, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, because tip is based on the service. If you get good service, you get a good tip. If you give bad service, you don't get a good tip.
Right.
It's just the way it should be. Did you see where McDonald's is going to do something different? They're going to start installing AI at the checkout windows.
Yeah. They're going to install AI at the checkout windows. It's going to further over to AI in the kitchen. And your order that is always wrong, if you go to one, is going to not be always wrong. And you're going to want to tip the AI 40%, which of course you can't do anyway.
I'm not sure about tipping a computer, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
No, you don't. And it'll probably, at the beginning, be programmed to mess up orders, too. So you'll feel that everything is the same. We stopped at one. I don't remember what city it was, but we stopped at one that the kitchen, I think, is AI, not the counter. The counter is just, it what do you call that word? It passes it along to the kitchen. But
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But the kitchen itself, I think, is AI. I'm not sure.
I used to work I think I told the story before. I used to work for a hotel. I just tell the story before, but I was a gourmet waiter, and if you did good service, and if it was table side, and I would make the food table side, bring out the raw meat, whatever it was, and then I would use wines and whatever. And I would make Bake Alaska, and I would, do bananas Foster and cherries Jubilee, and that kind of stuff. And that was, and you got good tips because you're giving the extra service, to the people, and they appreciate it, and the food was good, and so forth. Not only that, you had to talk to the people, you had to entertain them, and the tips were good, and that's the way it should be. And I was only going getting dollars an hour by the hotel, because I was making it up on the tips. That's the way it should be. But if you go to a restaurant, and it's going to be based on the type of fare they have, you don't want to make someone tip you just getting hamburgers and French fries. But if you're going to sit down meal, and if the restaurant served alcohol, you always push the alcohol because alcohol always raised the bill.
Right. But it also made people want to tip.
Yeah.
If you did it right.
Correct.
But these restaurants paying people like $3.65 an hour when minimum wage is like much more than that. Need to raise it to the much more than that, and these people aren't paying taxes on their tips. Not that some of them ever paid taxes on their tips before. This whole thing started because restaurants were collecting some tips on a credit card, and they were taxing them because they were income to those people, and that's what they're supposed to do. And they were showing records that that's what they did. And these people went crazy and added all these other things to the argument. And, I hope those people that added arguments to it are getting 40% before a person sits down, because I'll be glad to sit down and agree to pay you 40%, but I'm going to start taking stuff off when you give me bad service until I'm down around 20%, and then I'll go from there. Or I'm not going to give you anything because it's not my responsibility to give you a tip. It's not automatic. It's based on your service and whether or not I think you deserve a tip. Hey, Larry Estes is here. Also, William Grant is here. And I'm glad to welcome both of you to the broadcast. We're kind of just going all over the table, whatever comes out of our mouths and whatever Randy brought with him, news-wise, politics-wise, and everything else-wise. And anybody is welcome to jump in with what they want. We're also live on X if you hit the redirect, Streetlock if you hit the redirect, and Wimkin if you hit the redirect, brings you to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, and you can watch there and take part in YouTube live chat as well. So those people are all welcome to the program, as well as the people here on Facebook who are watching. You are welcome to the program too. And like Randy said at the beginning, next Tuesday we are going to talk genealogy, and you can learn everything that I know, which is not a whole lot. That's why we're doing it. And if you have an interest in genealogy, even have an interest in your genealogy, feel free to take part. We'll be on at 7 p.m. We'll go until about 8 p.m., 9 p.m. if it's necessary, but at least an hour till 8 p.m. And what else can I tell you?
Yeah. I know there was a rehash of Trump. He's able to stop 92% of Joe Biden's executive orders because he was able to prove that the auto pen was responsible for the signatures on all of them. Did you see? Okay, I know everyone knows about Carmela, the guy who killed the sports kid, right?
Yep.
So the family supposedly is poor, and they did a fundraiser for his legal for attorney fees, right?
Yep.
And the money raised was $612,000 thus far. Well, instead of the family using that money to get him a good attorney, they used that money to buy themselves a mansion inside a gated community.
Oh yeah.
Where the majority of the houses go for like $900,000. And they're saying that the reason why is that their lives are in danger. Well, that's bullcrap. What about their son, who's going to wind up going to prison? Isn't his life worth something? Because he's going to be, have problems with the white supremacy people inside the prison.
When he goes to prison, being in a gated community is not going to help the parents. I mean, it might, because they're not responsible per se for what their son did, but
they made
what they did was wrong.
The money should have been taken back when I don't know if they use a GoFundMe or whatever, but I know GoFundMe will withhold the money
They
if they
will.
find out that the money was raised incorrectly or used
Yeah.
incorrectly. They would.
They- Go ahead.
So hopefully someone stops that and seizes their homes. That's bullshit. They got that brand new but probably $2 million house on the backs of their son going to prison.
Yeah. GoFundMe has, I believe, specifics on how they will only pay it out. Like if you don't have the proper means, they will tell you what means you need to have in place before they will pay it. And if you don't have it, they say, "We're sorry, but we will return it to everybody who donated."
I saw the news on the streets where they're going out interviewing people. What do you think of the trial? What do you think of the verdict?
Mm-hmm.
And all the black people are supporting this black kid who killed this white kid. And many of them were saying that they would do it again if they had chance. They'd do it themselves. And then they wonder why there's racism in our country. When a black community can support a black man killing a white person, to try and call racism or whatever, you're doing it to yourself because you're supporting and cheering on a black person who killed a white person. If a white person killed a black person, first off, you wouldn't have white people defending him because we know that there's laws to be applied. But then you're going to have the black community going, do what they did with Floyd out there protesting, burning, and looting. Our country is upside down when it comes to that.
The boot on Floyd has evidently been proven that Derek Chauvin did not use his boot in a way that it was reported that he did. So it's either a new trial or no trial, and you let him out, and if he's due compensation for being improperly held, then he's due compensation for being improperly held. But reparations, people that think we owe them money because their relatives 100 years ago were something, no, I don't owe you anything because I don't owe you anything. The country may owe your relative, but your relative left the earth over 100 years ago. So, I wasn't here. I don't know anything about it, so I don't owe you anything. Plus, I'm still mad at Black Lives Matter. Big companies like Coca-Cola put in something like $50 million. And all these other companies put in hundreds of thousands of dollars into this thing, and this lady just looted it and did whatever she wanted with it. Well,
But
no.
but didn't she go to prison
I think she did. I don't know for sure, but I think she did. But
for abusing the money? She's buying mansions and stuff.
yeah, just like this lady from Act One was before the House committee in the House the other day, and answered the question. It didn't matter what question Jim Jordan asked her or others asked her. She responded with, on advice of counsel, I'm not going to answer the question as it pertains to my rights of
self-incrimination.
Article. Whatever.
In other words, every time, okay, in my mind, anytime a person does that, it means they're guilty.
Yeah, well, that's what I said this morning. It in a post. It means to me that they're guilty, and nothing's going to change until we start carting away these guilty people. And if you're a judge in these matters, you need to look at them and go, I'm sending you to the hooskow until you answer the question. And when you answer the question and say, no, I'm not guilty, you better be ready to prove it.
I watch these cop real life cop interactions with people, and I hate to say it, primary of them are black folks, and they'll always try to pull the I'm not a citizen. I'm a something a something citizen. Not a citizen of the United States, but a self.
Okay.
Anyway, they don't believe in the laws of our land, right?
Then don't be here. Because you
the-
came here and there's laws. If we came to where you are and we broke your laws, they'd go after us.
The cop will say, "Please step out of the car." No, and they're always on as soon as the cop shows up, they go right to their cell phone to call for help, right? For friends or whatever. And they're always on the phone. The police officer saying, driver's license, proof of insurance, and registration card, please. Why? Because I asked you for it. Why? Because you're speeding. Prove it. I will.
Yeah.
Show me your driver's license. And they go back and forth for like 10, 15 minutes, and they're still not doing what the cops are saying. Finally, they'll break the window, or they'll grab a door handle, force the door open, and they drag them out, and the next thing you know, they're arrested. So we could have avoided all this. All you had to do was show me driver's license, insurance, registration.
Right.
You would have got a warning or a ticket, but now your ass is going to jail.
Right. But, it's the fault of the person. I mean, I've been pulled over before, and on several occasions, I just flat out told the cop I know what I did and went on and said it, and I deserve a ticket for it. But, it's up to you. And most of the time I got told, don't do it again. There's your warning. It was verbal, and let go. And if I didn't, then there was a ticket that I probably deserved.
But it also boils down to the family teaching them. You can't tell me that these people, the way they react, to the police officers, is not drilled into them by their parents or their friends. And I just laugh at these people who refuse to cooperate. Like this one lady, again, the black lady walked into a bank for like the 16th time, different bank, trying to cash a check. And of course, the other banks saw that was fake, and they put out the warning to all the other banks. And she shows up at this one bank, and while the lady was talking to the woman trying to cash a check, another person called the cops, and she tries to lie about it.
Yeah.
It's like
It was the same as the people when I was a security guard, and the lieutenant that ran the shift. I would say to people, we don't want to come back again, but if we do, if we have to, we will. And when we had to come back, I would say, you don't want me to come back another time, because I'm going to call the police the next time, and they're going to show up with enough officers to make sure the party ends and the people leave the property. And some would believe me and some wouldn't. So I'd have to go back, and I'd go back with the police, and we'd knock on the door, and I'd say, hey guys, it's your responsibility. I'm just going to stand by and watch you. And boom, they would shut it down.
I think it was like a week or 2 weeks ago, I mentioned about the FBI now has their top 10 fraud people. They caught one in the top 10. I don't know who it was, but it says the FBI catches one of them. What the Democrat with that Nazi tattoo, right? Big hullabaloo, and he gets selected to run against a Republican for the office come November.
Yeah.
That corresponds to the other thing. I was watching a Congress session, and the Republicans saying about the left, the left wants to say about slavery, but your response was that if we wanted slavery from Democrats, the Democrats want slavery because of who's going to pick our cotton. Now it's we have all these illegal immigrants we're trying to get rid of. Now the left is saying, who's going to pick our avocados? If you send them all back, who's going to pick them? Well, gee whiz,
Well,
maybe someone can come up with a machine, or you give the job to some white people, or something like that.
it's not a question of sending them all back. It's a question of going through and looking and seeing who belonged here and who didn't. Because the previous administration didn't do that. They just told people the doors are open, the gates are open, come here. We will welcome you with open arms. And that's what they did. And that's why some people died. That's why some people got beat up. That's why there's crime in some areas. And,
I like to.
You can't, if you want, go through life that every Muslim is bad. But I'm sorry, I won't do that.
No, I agree. Not every Muslim is bad. And unfortunately, it's just the minority of that particular religious sect that makes the rest of them look bad. It's sort of like saying that all Baptists are bad or all Catholics are bad. No, it's just a small portion of that.
There's probably someone an American in Iran who's going, all Americans are not bad. Even the ones you're dealing with, they're not bad. They're just doing what they need to do to protect everybody. And if you were doing it, you'd do the same things.
Yeah.
Not necessarily close the strait. I still can't figure out. Iran doesn't own the strait, doesn't operate the strait, but they've closed it down. Well, that should have long since been taken away from them.
Well, but look at the Gulf of America. It used to be called the Gulf of Mexico. Now it's Gulf of America. Okay, I would think if Trump saw shipping going through that area that didn't legally wasn't legally allowed to transit that waterway, he'd probably do the same thing. It's like right now with Cuba. He's got a blockade there to keep ships going there with weapons and so forth, because Pete Hegseth said that once Iran's done, we're going to go after Cuba, because the whole idea is we want the Western Hemisphere to be free of any of our enemies. I can understand that, but isn't that also called government? We try to overthrow governments to governments that like us and only like us. We should be involved in that.
We should. Hopefully, that's not what we're doing. We're going in there and we're saying, hey, the majority of the people want a free country. They want a free Cuba. They're tired of whatever you've been doing to them, and they deserve that.
Hey, David Novar.
Hey, David. And,
who is Thomas Cassandra?
I don't know. He is new to the program. SF Thomas Cassandra.
Let's see.
SF is San Francisco, so I don't know if he is
he's from Florida.
Everybody's from Florida, because everybody has a home in Florida, and it's the telecommunications capital of the world, as I call it, because I'm from Florida.
Hey, did you see that? I'm not sure which legal division, if it's FBI or Home or whatever, but they rescued over 100,000 children who are being sex trafficked.
Good.
And he said that the stories that they are telling us would make you sick.
Oh yeah.
He said many of them were raped hundreds of times over.
They will.
And they still have over 300,000 children they're trying to find. And
I feel sorry for the ones that they have found, because some of them, hopefully all of them, will get the help and medical care that they need, and will become productive citizens and not build life on what they went through. But I don't know if that's true of everyone. But hopefully they will be able to be, what's that word? Rehabilitated and come clean from all of that.
I mean, when you read articles about the Israeli women and what they went through, the hundreds and hundreds of rapes and beatings and torture, I mean, it's going to take a strong person and strong family to help them get through it and help them to become productive citizens again. But it's going to be a long haul. if at all, if at all, to get over the experience that they
It's going to be a long haul in this because the Democrats are still going to blame it all on Trump. I mean, we could have another Republican in the chair in the White House, and I don't believe they would treat him or her as poorly as they have treated Donald Trump. Just because he's Donald Trump. And
I don't think they would treat another Republican president as bad as they have done Trump.
They would. I don't think they would.
They would still treat him bad.
They would
because
treat him
hopefully
bad.
that Republican president is still want to try and undo all the bull crap the Democrats, have done.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. We should be getting rid of the ones that have dual citizenship. We should be getting rid of the ones who hate our country in the office.
No,
It's who are there illegally.
It's house cleaning time in Minnesota.
Yes, definitely.
And some of them just need to go home. But I think they're being here because people are hoping we're going to arrest that person. They're going to serve a crap load of time here, and then we're going to send them out of here. Send them to whatever they think is home. I'm at the point now where, get back what you can get back. Try to get back the rest of it. Try to get back all of it. But you know what? Take these people and send them the F out of here. Just send them out of here. Send them all out of here. And if people want to go with them, go with them. I mean, this stuff you read on social media these days, I'm not doing any more concerts in the United States until Donald Trump is gone. Well, good. Don't do any more concerts in the United States until Donald Trump is gone. And if he's never gone, that means you'll never do another concert again. I don't buy it from any of those people because they're in a business that requires us to give them money for merchandise that they sell and or paying the bill to go see them. And without that, I don't see that happening. And you can go travel the world and tour the world and make money all you want. But you know what? You're not going to see it here in the United States until all the people that I guess booked the 250th anniversary party that President Trump is trying to put together, that all of a sudden canceled. Hey, don't be there. It'll be more time for the ones that want to be there. I just,
I'm looking at on the updates on the news here.
I love Rosie O'Donnell. I mean, I just happen to think that she's funny and she's smart. But, to travel halfway around the world, go to Ireland so that she can say stuff against Donald Trump every morning, every afternoon, every evening, whenever she does it. Why? You should have stayed here and done it. You leave and people think something's up. You leave and somebody else will take your place. Kristen Welker's going to learn, I think, in her disrespecting the president the way she did, that nobody else is going to want her. So either NBC is going to need to bury her so deep that they think that anybody thinks that she's gone, and then when this is all done, bring her back. But I think it's over for her. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin, and I spent an hour with you in the rain. After he had said, I spent an hour with you in the rain, and all you want to do is this. That should be assigned to the future reporters that have the opportunity to sit down one-on-one and interview President Trump. That, hey, show some respect. Even if you don't like him, at least show some respect.
Do you watch NCIS?
I don't, but I did.
So I used to watch the original, then I just
Yeah.
got old. It's like 26 years into it. So I started watching NCIS Origins, but I really enjoy that. I really do enjoy that one. But
Okay.
now they have a new one.
Mhm.
It's going to start this fall. It's called NCIS New York, and it's going to have L Cool J. What's his
Okay.
name? What's his name? LL Cool J. Was it LL Cool J? LL Cool.
Cool J.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
going to be in it, and one of the other guys from the
Yeah.
original series will be in it. So that's going to be. I'm going to love watching that one. I'll watch
That's-
that.
I still wake up every day hoping they bring back Blue Bloods. That they work out.
yeah.
Or that
Yeah,
somebody, that some production company grabs them and just brings them back.
Unfortunately, he has 2 projects he's working on.
Yeah.
Now there might be a chance he might show up as a cameo in the Boston Blue, but I think as far as him having his own series, bring that one back. It was a conservative program. It was pro cop. It was a pro religion, and right now that doesn't play well with less than half of our country. And I think that's why it got canceled. But we're almost out of time, and
We are
we need
almost
to
out
end
of
it.
time.
We need to end it with our theme song. So if you can share
Okay.
my screen.
Or do you want to share your theme song for Tuesday? Once
I can-
again,
I can do it. Okay.
okay,
Do, 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 do.
you can do that.
Bum, bum,
Then
bum,
you
bum.
tell me when you're ready on your end, and I'll be ready on my end. And,
Okay, you go ahead and share the screen a while.
all right, next.
Every name on a faded page, every road sign, every age, from a small town farm to a harbor town, your story's waiting to be found. All roads lead to home, where the road goes deep and wide. For your family, for the glory, every soldier, saint, and pride. Royal bandit, heroes, ring out from the dusty stone. Join up for your family, stay for the history, find your own. From the first shots fired for a brand new flag, to the smoke and thunder of a tattered rag. Across the ocean, through the gone gray sky, their courage lives in your eye. All roads lead to home, where the road goes deep and wide. From the revolution's fire to the cannon's distant cry, north and south, the trenches, 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 where the marching drums had grown. Join up for your family, stay for the history, find your own. They stood in the cold, they wrote their names in dust. They carried hope and fear, they handed you their trust. Trace the lines, connect the ear, feel their footsteps in your bones. All roads lead to home, where the road goes deep and wide. Worlds apart through every war, still they walk by your side. Royals, rebel bandits, heroes, every seed they've ever sown. Join up for your family, stay for the history, find your own.
And there you have it. Next Tuesday at 7 o'clock, we're going to talk about ancestry and why it's so important to us. You'd be surprised, if you get someone like myself to do your history, you can find all kinds of stuff, good and bad. But what's more important than finding your family is learning what it took your ancestors from the 15, 16, 1700s to leave what they had to come here to unknown world where there are already millions of natives living, and the fight and the wars and the struggles they had to go through to make you and to make me and our children. We have to give them the honor and respect for it. I love when I see people buy an old home and then they realize that this house was built back in the day, and they take off the outside facade to expose the wooden beams, and they leave it like that because it's part of our history, and we should never forget, what it took to create this. But we should also be looking forward to making this country better for our children and grandchildren.
And we're going to talk about it next Tuesday, 7:00 p.m. Eastern Time. And bring your parents, their name, and where they were born. And maybe we'll try to do some instant ones if Brandy can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem, doing like an online quick thing. If you're interested, I need your name. If you want to do your spouse or better half, their name, your birth date, city, state, both parents. You want both sides of the family, okay? Their at least their birthday. I don't need a city or state. If they're still living, their information is protected by law. I would need to have their grandparents' names to be able to go past that. Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, but we'll talk about the information that you can find, and we'll do one. Randy's done one for me, so maybe we'll just throw the information up on that one.
Yep, we can do that.
He's told me that I'm related to someone who's related to King David. So I guess I'm kind of confused there. Does that mean that we are both related to King David, or am I just related to someone who's related to King David?
You're related to someone who you were distantly related to King David through the whole lineage thing.
Oh,
The one thing about the Jewish people is that they tried their darndest to keep their bloodline pure. That's why I've heard people were able to trace their a Jewish person was able to trace their roots back to the original tribes of Israel, because the Jewish people, for the most part, tried to keep their lineage pure.
I was probably the guy related to the guy in the 12th tribe who decided he had enough of living in the desert.
Yeah.
Decided he was going to go inside for air conditioning.
There you go.
But
Yes,
anyway,
well,
Randy
it's
Rhodes, always a pleasure to have you here.
Yep.
You
Take
want
care.
to
See you
end?
guys.
Do you want to end on yours, or do you just want me to end on ours?
No.
If I can do it again.
So Virgil just popped in. Virgil, before we jump off, is there anything you want us to talk about?
Virgil, greetings from England. So we were truly international on this edition of Boogie.
They're going to lose. Come on, they're going to lose.
Well, when England win the World Cup, we pay for David to come to Manchester, England, and we will
Get bladdered.
Well, I'm actually not allowed in England, and it goes back to Queen Elizabeth II, who said, if you can't drive Chuck and Diana's wedding, then you can't come. Then you can't ever come to England. Because my favorite car at the time, the Rolls Royce, is built in England, and it would be a sin for me to go to England, I guess, because I said no to the Queen. I can't be knighted, which I guess you can't be knighted anyway if you're not a citizen.
Well, you got to be rich, filthy rich.
Oh, yeah.
And
You
be
buy-
friends.
You buy what amounts to being an honorary, I guess.
Like Elton John and so forth, they all got knighted, and
Well,
because
Elton John's-
because of their money, because of the
Well-
influence they had on the population for what.
Well,
they did.
Reginald Dwight, I believe, was born in England, and he went on to be
Elton John. You're right.
Elton
You're right.
John.
I know. Now, I remember we lived in England for 3 years, and one of the things that floored us as an American family was the TV. First off, you could not own back then in the late early '60s, late mid '60s. You couldn't own a TV. You had to rent the TV, okay, because the Queen owned the airwaves. And my brother and I were young. We're sitting there watching the news. My mom comes in from the kitchen, and here the news reporter is doing a story about this female swimming team. And while he's on the air live, he takes off his clothes. He's totally stark naked, and he walks into the showers while he's talking about the swim match. My mom walks in. She sees this naked guy on the TV. She goes absolutely nuts, right? And she turns the TV off because they don't have the same type of restrictions on TV that we do here. And that kind of floored us. But we were there for 3 years. I loved it. Made some very good friends.
Saw a lot of Benny Hill.
Watched a lot of Benny Hill.
A lot of Benny Hill and Monty Python because they're from there too.
We had some English friends, and they would come over to us on Christmas, but they call it something different. I think they call it Boxer's Day. But the way they start the new year, unlike we start off with parties and alcohol, you have to have someone knock on your door. You had to have a big chunk of coal in his hand, and that's how you would welcome in the new year, by just accepting this guy as a hunk of coal. It's pretty cool.
Okay. And on that note, I guess we'll give everybody class dismissed. Send Randy back to work on his way.
Yep.
And,
see you guys on Tuesday.
All right. We will see you on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Hey, we're here Thursdays, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m., possibly 9 o'clock, but usually till at least 8 p.m. And Randy and I will be here Tuesday, and I will talk about Randy and all roads lead to home genealogy, and we're going to try it, see if it works. We'll do Tuesdays too, maybe. I don't know. But maybe, I don't know, means we probably will. Anyway, let's see. We want to thank the people at Restream for no problems tonight. Anywhere it seemed to go off without anything at all. So if you're looking for a good quality Restreamer, the $16 a month package, if you prepay for the whole year, I forget how much that is, or $19 a month if you prepay. I mean, if you pay every month, which is what I did. It's available. Go to restream.io, and it will give you all of the information that you need to know, and you can even tell them that I sent you there. Okay? Because that's really a place that you should go. Prince Andrew will be out with us. I don't know. We'll talk about that. I don't know if I want to be around Prince Andrew right now. I don't really want to become involved in that in any way. But if I came to England, I would definitely see you. And if I had to, I guess I would see King Charles. William? Yeah, I'd like to see William. And I don't know from there. I don't really know. I'll probably get in more trouble than Donald Trump did when he walked in front of the Queen. So, I don't know. All I know is take care of yourselves, be kind to yourself and each other. That's Jerry Springer. So, give credit where credit is due. And we will see you next week, next Thursday. Excuse me, we'll see you Tuesday for Randy. All roads lead to home genealogy. But next Thursday at 7, we'll see you here for the next Boogie with the Bull. And if I can do it, I don't know if I can do it. No, we can't do it.